adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns round. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine, everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line, ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming.
adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be.
Good to go. Thanks, Karen. Good morning, councillors and officers, to our ordinary meeting for the 22nd of August 2023. I'd first like to begin with acknowledgement to country and acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land in which we meet today, the Darumbal people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Also extend that respect to our neighbouring Aboriginal peoples within our local government area, the Gungaloo Nation people, the Barada, Cabelbarra and Yeddamaralla people. Also acknowledging the Torres Strait Islander peoples whose land are in the Torres Strait, but who also live and work on Aboriginal lands. Council, we have a full house, but we do have one 10.1 request for leave of absence for Councillor Kirkland for Tuesday the 29th of August 2023. I'm happy to move as per the request. Seconded Deputy Mayor Councillor Fisher. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you. Declarations in matters on the agenda, councillors. Do we have any declarations? Not yet. But if we do, if throughout the course of the meeting something arises at that time, councillors, please inform the meeting and we'll deal with it at that time. Moving on to item 6, business outstanding nil, public forums. The confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting from the ordinary meeting on the 8th of August 2023 be confirmed. Move Councillor Fisher. Have a seconder, Councillor Smith. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Sorry, I jumped the gun there. Public forums, deputations nil. Presentations, petitions nil. Committee reports nil. Councillor delegate reports nil. Move straight into the officers' reports. 11.1 Sustainability Strategy 22-23 year review. Thank you. We'll move straight into that. Thanks, Christine.
Good morning, Mayor and Councillors. It is my pleasure to introduce Council's Sustainability Year in Review. This report checks in on Council's progress against the sustainability strategy and highlights some of the achievements from the year that we have just had. Importantly today, I'm seeking your endorsement of this report and also your approval to publicly exhibit the report via Council's website and other means. Thank you.
Councillor Kirkland is the portfolio spokesperson for...
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I just wanted to say how proud I am of Council's environment team. We've got some music coming on through someone online. So I just wanted to add that the group is actually really committed to sustainability and they're united, very united in their passion to deliver every initiative within our Towards 2030 strategy. And this year in review is a snapshot page. The snapshot page right at the beginning highlights their success. The organisation as a whole and the community get to celebrate each and every step that we are making towards the ongoing practices of environmental stewardship, circular economy and of course the preservation of our greatest natural assets. So it's a bit of a journey, and I've said this a few times over the last week in different forums, Mr Mayor, that you know, we're never to despise the day of small beginnings, and I commend the environment team and the broader council leadership teams for raising the standard of environmental awareness and for stewardship across the whole of Rockhampton region. So I commend you for working together and leading the way for the community, and I am very happy to move a motion and to endorse this.
Thanks very much, Councillor Kirkland. I echo your comments there. Councillors, do I have a seconder with regards? I'm happy to second in that tone. So that said, any questions to Christina's report? Again, thank the team, Christina. It's a great opportunity there to look at everything that we do about sustainability and our Rocky Regional Council taking us forward. So thank you. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks for that report. Leads us into our next agenda item 11.2, the trustee lease renewals for the Rockhampton Heritage Village. And I invite John to the podium to present that report. Thanks very much, John.
Through the chair, good morning. Before you hear, I've got what's a little bit of a procedural report about the renewal of 3 trustee leases at the Heritage Village. So our recommendation is pursuant to the relevant sections as listed. The organisations identified the Australian Country Hospital Heritage Association, First Light Horse Regiment, Rockhampton Historical Squadron and Museum, and the Central Queensland Amateur Radio Association have their leases renewed, and that you council authorises the Chief Executive Officer through to the role I hold to negotiate the terms and conditions of these agreements with the organisations. A little bit of commentary. There, of course, is one other tenant there whose lease isn't coming up for renewal. 2 of the leases there have expired that we're considering, and one is about to expire. Sort of some of the terms that we'll consider is potentially offering a 3-year lease term as we negotiate, but also potentially up to 5, which is what they've previously received. Lease fees are all covered by council, but also to add some of the conditions which we've previously been adding to other community organisations, such as to see their audited financial statements, their constitution, their AGM minutes, and for them to report on their member and attendance numbers, so we have an understanding about how well those are being utilised and what the situation of those organisations are for council to best support them. So I'll just leave that for council to consider and invite any questions.
Thanks very much, John. Portfolio spokesperson, Councillor Wickerson.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Through you to John. John, I think the aim of the Heritage Village has always been this active and interactive space where we showcase living history. That was always sort of the tenet from it. I'm aware that some of these leasees, like the Country Hospital and the Light Horse, and even the Printing Works, which isn't in this round, but I would include it in that, all are highly active. On open days, they have printing presses working, and there's our Light Horse people running around the hospital. It's just brilliant. The one that doesn't glare out at me is the radio club there. They're there, and they've got some great old stuff, but to my knowledge, they're not terribly active with it. So I don't want to stop this per se, but in the conditions, are we able to add in there a line that sort of requires these people to be engaging and active?
I can certainly look to put a sort of a phrase and a requirement in there so that we can help them be, I guess, engaged and active on the days, particularly when we're open to the public that have got lots of activities. Certainly able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, without that, really any group could have a lease out there, and it doesn't contribute to the overall operation of the place. Or
certainly. Yeah. I can look at putting something in there that is a bit more prescriptive but also still supportive of their activities.
Okay, and so just to make it into a question, the radio people, am I incorrect in saying that they're there but they're not terribly active? Is that
I think that when we have large open days, their areas open, they have people there so that people can come up and see it. I think possibly part of the challenge is that they're on the second level. As with anything you want open to the public and you really want to utilise those facilities, it's ideal if they're always on a ground level, but we can look to see what we do there.
Okay, no, thank you. Thanks, Mayor. And I'll maybe to
Moved, Councillor Wickerson. Councillors, any other questions? If not, seek a seconder. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much for your report there, John.
Thank you.
Moves on to 11.3, the prepayment for the services of cemeteries, and I'll invite MJ up to present that report. Thanks, MJ.
Yep, so good morning, Mayor, councillors. So This is a generic report about the process that we would like to be considered. If you do wish to go into detail about any of the, I guess, individual organisations, we will have to go into closed session to discuss that. So the cemetery-related activities policy states that all burials must be arranged by a qualified undertaker, which is classed as a funeral director. So currently, when a funeral director has debt owed greater than 30 days, we will start contacting them courtesy call to let them know. If it gets greater than 120 days, we refer it to Collections House and we take bookings if they pay on the day of the service or before the service. To date, we've been following this process, but we haven't really been enforcing it, so we've not refused any services even without prepayment and old debt. So at the adoption of fees and charges, one funeral director did advise us that they want to provide us the family details and we can enter arrangements with them. We've rejected that position on the basis that our agreement is between the funeral director and us, not the families. So after this communication, we've had some refusal to pay for services on the understanding that we'll get paid when they get paid, and they've become increasingly difficult to communicate with and have started demonstrating unfavourable behaviour towards council officers from myself and customer service. So it's proposed that we provide a week's notice to funeral directors that if they hold outstanding debt greater than 30 days old, so 30 days is the debtor terms and conditions that they signed when they were put in the debtor system, we will only accept a booking at the time of payment. So there's no intention to refuse a funeral service, simply that we will only accept that booking if they pay at the time. So this decision won't restrict us from doing business with the funeral directors, and it's intended to reduce the risk of council carrying debt for the businesses and also support council officers with managing funeral services and bookings.
Okay, thanks very much, MJ. Again, probably just to be clear though, we're not refusing the service to anyone in the community.
No, we won't be refusing service. No.
Okay, thank you. Portfolio spokesperson, I'll ask Councillor Wickerson and then go to Councillor Smith. Councillor Wickerson.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Probably just a comment and maybe flagging that a slight addition to the recommendation as it stands there. Look, I understand MJ, I understand that the difficulties around it, and we can't name the people involved in it, but to send a message that we won't carry the debt is important. But I want to add that maybe the 30 days is a bit tight. I worry that like the last line of the commentary was the one that was probably concerned me the most. That this action may in some cases result in a delay to services families are expecting. Like this is a highly sensitive time for people and an emotional time. I don't want to do anything that may add to that concern at the time. I don't know whether extending that 30 days as proposed out to 60 would make any difference for what we're trying to achieve, but it may allow time for the families to avoid that difficulty. So, Mayor, I'd just like to add that into the recommendation. At the moment, the recommendation doesn't specify time, even though in the body of the report it does mention 30 days. So, I guess the last line, I'll read the recommendation in full, or is it?
Yep.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
Up there. Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Wickerson. Councillor Smith, question?
Yeah, my question was, would the officers consider the 60 days? Because a lot of deaths are unexpected and the family doesn't have those thousands sitting there, and a lot of times estates can take years to finalise. And I could feel for the funeral directors, and we've got a very, our funeral directors in Rockhampton are very professional, and we,
Yeah. Unfortunately, we've got a situation where the majority are, but there's some that are not there. That's forcing our hand, and when there's staff being put into compromising positions, having to do that constant chase up, this is put council in the position where we had to take this step, unfortunately. But I support the 60 days as well. I think that's something there to giving that option. If that doesn't resolve, we can always come back at a later point if that doesn't resolve the situation going forward. So you're happy to move, Councillor Wickerson. I'm happy to. Councillor Smith, did you wish to second? Move. Seconded, Councillor Smith. Put that. Those in favour. Those opposed. Motion's carried unanimously. Yes. It was sort of. Thanks very much for that report, MJ. We'll move into our next report, which is 11.4, and is it Amanda? Oh, sorry. Declan. Sorry, Declan.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. So we currently have an application for a request for change representations for a negotiated infrastructure charges notice. This extension was required as additional time was required to finalise stormwater conditions for the development approval. The applicant's change representations are considered reasonable, and therefore we recommend approval.
Okay, councillors, any questions through with that report? Pretty straightforward. Spokesperson, Councillor Mathers?
Happy to move.
Happy to move. To seek a seconder? Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion is carried unanimously. Thanks very much, Declan. Brings us on to our next report. The audit business, development application.
Good morning, Mr Mayor and councillors. This development application the accommodation buildings and the to the west boundary, and the warehouse use in the northeast corner. The camp will comprise of, next slide. Nope, I'm going back. There we go. The camp will comprise of 50 accommodation buildings with 4-person self-contained suites along with supporting amenities, and the warehouse use will contain 20 shipping containers for storage, a plant laydown area and a wash bay. The application was subject to public notification for 15 business days. 1 submission was received. How that submission was considered and is addressed and outlined in the report. The development generally complies with the provisions included in the applicable planning scheme codes and will not compromise the strategic framework, therefore is recommended for approval.
Thanks very much, Kathy. Councillors, questions? Or go to questions first. Councillor Kirkland, then Councillor Rutherford, then Councillor Smith.
Oh, thanks, Mr Mayor. Thank you, Kathy, for that report. I just wanted to ask around the water and sewage charges, because it's essentially residential as a like activity as opposed to commercial. How are they being charged for that? Is that outlined in the report? I did look for it but couldn't see it. So.
Sorry, how will they be charged?
The water meter charges? They're just, they'd be the same
commercial
as...
or residential? I'm just interested to know how that's going to be charged, because I note that they're paying for the they're paying for the connections, for all the toilets and that sort of thing. You know.
So this is the rates component, not the development application component.
There's no. Does that not come into?
They will pay. So I'll probably let Marnie finish off here. In relation to the water, it'll be the size of the meter, will be the access charge, and then volumetric from there. And I'd say, Marnie, it will be the sewage charge will be based around the number of pedestals.
Yeah, that's correct.
It will be?
It will be, but it will be non-residential effectively, because it's Kathy's just mentioned those zonings that it's on, so medium and high.
Yeah.
So it won't be classed as a residential type of operation, and therefore our rates for water and sewage won't be charged in accordance with our residential rating. It'll be more commercial or non-residential rating for the services that we supply. And the number of pedestals will determine how much the sewer rates are, and it may even be that there's a large, I would expect it's certainly not a 20 millimetre that will service that property, so it will be greater water access charges as well as the consumption on that property.
All righty, thank you. Yeah, that
Thanks.
was a question I had just around this. Thanks.
Thanks very much, Marnie. Councillor Rutherford.
Mr Mayor, my question was exactly the same, actually, exactly.
Yep.
That, but just on from that, 200 pedestals, I guess there's a significant impact on infrastructure in one area. Are we confident the infrastructure will carry that?
Through the chair, I might hand over to Jamie.
Oh, we've got Peter online there. Peter, just a question to the officers: will the system be able to cater for that increase in
Yes,
number of
we
pedestals?
are working with the applicant to make sure that there's sufficient capacity, and Jamie's team would have also considered this as part of the assessment, but we work with them and we'll supply the correct capacity, but we don't see any issue in that at all.
Jamie, did you have anything there? No, it's fine.
So when we looked at this development, we spoke with the network models and looked at capacity of the sewage network capacity.
Might just need to press the buzzer. That's it.
Sorry. So we've worked with the network modelers and looked at capacity of water and sewage networks, and for the additional 200 pedestals, they've agreed it's okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Rutherford. Councillor Smith.
I did write in a query about the fence.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's round sort of 2.5 sides. Is that right, Amanda? Thank you for sending me that map. I'm just concerned that it does join rural land and they've got stud Brahman cattle, but we've only conditioned it where there's sensitive land uses. So, yeah, I went and had a look
So
at
the
the
buffer
site
fence,
yesterday.
it covers that? The fence?
No, it doesn't cover the rural land, but it does go around half a side that I wasn't expecting.
So that meets what we believe there?
Yeah.
Through the chair, it is conditioned
Yep.
along all the sites with the residential uses.
A while ago, I did get a query from a house owner about the dust when they were settling it to put the pipes down.
Yep.
But I think that's all been, they've just got more water trucks on site now.
Yeah.
All right. This is the first, councillors, and again, close to Gracemere community. My concern is with the social side of it. I know it's not a planning grounds to do anything, but we need to be very mindful of this this operation, that what potentially could occur, and we'll be across that from another level to make sure that these people behave when they're in the community and do what they should be expected there. So I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I think it's very mindful when you have workers' camps in close proximity to large populations that all sorts of mayhem can occur. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one as it goes forward. That's not a planning ground, it's just a comment there in general there. Councillor, if there are no further questions to the report, could I seek a mover and a seconder with regards to that? Move Councillor Mathers, seconded Councillor Kirkland. I'll put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much for that, Kathy, that report. Moves us on to 11.6, the Audit and Business Improvement Committee member appointment, and I'll hand over to Ross to bring that one through. Thanks very much, Ross.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This item is seeking Council's approval to appoint Mr Peter Taggart to the Audit and Business Improvement Committee. The process has been through a full selection process with the committee. Our policy requires the appointment to be by Council, so we're seeking Council endorsement of this appointment. Okay,
thanks very much, Ross. Reasonably straightforward recommendation, but Councillors, any questions to Ross on that? Comment? Councillor Kirkland, question?
More of a statement really than that. Just to say, I'm looking at the resume and everything else there. It was outstanding. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Mr Taggart brings to the table. Yeah, I think it'll be great. Okay, thank you.
Move Councillor Latcham, seconded Councillor Kirkland. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. Thanks very much, Ross. Bring us on to 11.7, summary budget report for the period ending 30th of June 2023, and I'll hand over to Marnie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and good morning, everyone. So this is actually a little time coming, councillors. This is the summary budget management report for the period to the 30th of June. We're actually embarking, or our auditors will be here on site as of next week, so all of our work has been going into, I guess, finalising our end-of-year statements and getting to a position that is ready for audit to have a look at next week. So our draft statements are very close to being completed in terms of readiness for audit. So effectively, this budget management report reflects generally the position that those statements are in, which is the reason why we take a little while to bring this one to council. So you will note that the reports that we've provided, they should be generally within the 100% of the May monthly budget review that we undertook prior to the adoption of our 23-24 budget, and they're mostly in line with the expectations for the 22-23 year. Operating revenue ended up just slightly over the May monthly budget review. Contributing factors were in relation to fees and charges revenue, particularly in development approvals, waste and recycling services, airport parking and water fees. Private works and recoverable works were also above budget at 105%, and some rent and lease income was also above at 110% due to the timing of the billing. Our grant revenue was just slightly under at 99%, but generally speaking, our income performed quite well and we were within the budget expectations. In terms of our expenditure, our operational expenditure was slightly over budget at 101. Contractors and consultants were at 105% due to increased costs in relation to Fitzroy water projects, civil operations and tourism events. Asset operational was under budget. Admin expenses were under budget, finance costs were slightly above budget at 112, and other expenses were above budget at 106. The net operating result compared to the May monthly budget review, which was at that time around 300,000 deficit, actually resulted in a surplus of 1.5 million. But as is shown in the report, there are a number of transactions or adjustments that we make in relation to our capital expenditure, which then reclassifies it as operating expenditure when we prepare our statements. So that has resulted in the expenditure being reclassified from capital expenditure to operating, and that came in at 9.5 million, which was up from the amount that we had in the previous year, about 3.5 million. And contributed to a deficit that we will see in our financial statements of around that $8 million. So that's where we will expect to end our financial year due to those capital adjustments. In relation to our capital income and expenditure, we saw capital income achieve around 72% of our May monthly budget review. Some of those were influenced by grant funds not coming in and having to carry forward some unspent grant funds that were for projects that will actually occur in 23-24. Our total capital expenditure actually reached 95% of the May monthly budget review. We saw actually $21.8 million spent during the June period. So our ultimate expenditure total for capital expenditure during 22-23 was around the 124.6 million. So councillors, you will recall that we adjusted that budget to around 130 when we did the May monthly budget review, and we had adopted an original budget in July of last year of 186.6 million, which we moved downwards. So total investments at that time, at the end of June, were 74.6 million, and total loans were 128.9, because as councillors will recall, we didn't actually draw down the loans in last financial year, chose not to take that up. So generally speaking, councillors, the income and expenditure for operational was generally within the latest budget review that we had identified, and then those capital adjustments saw that move out. And capital results were generally where we thought they may be, although our capital income was slightly under where we thought we would end the year. So on that basis, I recommend that the report be received.
Okay, councillors, questions to Marnie on that report? Councillor Rutherford.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thank you, Marty. And I just don't know whether I'm a little bit confused or whether it's a typo. So it says it's a report for June, but in the report it keeps referring to the May budget.
Yes, we did the May monthly budget review. That's what we did. We adopted a May monthly, we called it the May monthly budget review, which we adjusted for the final position for council for the 22-23 financial year. We adopted it in June, but we referred to it as the May monthly budget review.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So Marty, just to be clear on that deficit position, it was 3.5 million that we adopted, but then went to the reclassification from capital across to operational.
We had predicted, Mr Mayor, that the budgeted result would be around a deficit of 300 million. That's what we did when we did the May monthly budget review. In terms of our operating costs, just straight operating costs without those capital adjustments, we ended up in a position of a $1.5 million surplus. But then with those capital adjustments that we have to undertake prior to the end of the year, that added another 9.5 million in expenditure, which was reclassified from capital to operating, which then contributed to a deficit of $8 million.
Yeah, okay. That's clear. Councillor, if there are no further questions to Marnie, I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Seconded Deputy Mayor Councillor Fisher. Put that. Those in favour? Those opposed? Motion's carried unanimously. And we'll move on to the next summary budget report for June. Thanks, Marnie.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So presented to councillors is the monthly budget report for the period of July to the end of July. We're very new into the financial year, so we don't see a lot of transactions usually in that first month of the year. The result should be around the 8.3% of the adopted budget amount. Total operating revenue is actually at 37%, due mainly to the rates and charges being levied at 40%, so contributing to 48% of budget, and also some grants and subsidies being behind budget at 3%, so due to the timing of those. In terms of our operating expenditure, we're under budget at this point in time at 6% of the adopted budget. As I said, minimal expenditure going on. Usually July is very much focused on trying to close out the previous financial year, and a lot of work and effort is contributors to doing accruals and ensuring that those costs are actually recognised in the prior financial year if they fall within those requirements. So our contractors and consultants, materials and plant and asset operational costs are very low compared to budget. Other expenses are higher, at 13%, but again, not contributing to a lot in terms of our overall expenditure. Capital budget is only at 1% of the adopted budget, and in terms of the capital income, and capital expenditure is at 2%. So small transactions or small amounts going through there. We should see that start to ramp up as we get through August and September. Total investments are at 54.7 million as at the 31st of July, and loans were at 129.2, so just slightly less than what they were in June. As I said, with only 1 month of the year gone, it doesn't set a trend or demonstrate how we're actually performing at this point in time, because it is very early in the financial year, but it's recommended that the report be received.
Thanks very much, Marnie. And again, my bad, I mentioned June, in the start of it, it's a July report. Councillor Kirkland, question.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Marnie, I'm just cognizant of the wages component of our budget and how that continues to increase. And my question is, cognizant of a report further down as to the numbers of vacancies that we have and jobs coming on board. In that budget projection, we've got there that figure that's within the budget projection. Does that include those jobs that are vacant, or is it just looking at jobs that are currently filled?
No, it's all, Councillor Kirkland through the chair, that budget that's set for employee costs, so the adopted budget of 99.7 million is actually for all positions that we've budgeted for, whether they be vacant or fully filled. So if we've planned to fill those vacancies, there is a budget allocated for those positions. So it's covering.
Yeah, excellent. I just wanted to make sure of that
Yeah.
because there's quite a number of vacancies that we have, and I thought, wow, so that's 99.7 million, which is I think around about 40% of the budget in
Yes.
wages.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah, thank you.
It's, again, Council, when we do those workshops, the wages are a big component of our budget makeup. So
Just wanted to make sure
that money is staying in the local economy as well. So that's, the ratepayers can take something away that money's coming back into our local community. If there's no further questions to Marnie on that report, again, I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Deputy Mayor. Put that. Those in favour. Those opposed. Motion's carried unanimously. Again, early start to the financial year and not a lot in that detail in that report.
Mr Mayor, if I could make a comment. Actually, during this term, the reports from Marnie, I've actually found them to be very, very good, that information flow. You're virtually left with very few questions to ask. So I just thought I'd like to sort of just make that comment and thank Marnie for those reports.
Thanks very much, Councillor Fisher. That brings us on to our next item, which is 11.9, the Whole of Council Corporate Performance Report for the period ending July 2023. Thanks, Ross.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, this is just for adoption at this point. We do have a time scheduled after this meeting to go into detail.
briefing workshop there to talk that, but if there's anything specific, councillors, happy to take that on there. Question, Councillor Kirkland.
Oh, thanks, Mr Mayor. Not a question. Again, just a comment back to everyone that's engaged in bringing this and presenting this report to us. Ross, I know that you have trouble hearing me, so I'll bring it nice and close. Just to say thank you for all of the detail. Again, echoing what Councillor Fisher has said there, but also some really great initiatives in there. Variety of entertainment and everything that's happening in the AR space as far as getting the message out to put Rocky on your radar and all that type of thing. Excellent reading for the community if they want to know what's happening, because there's a lot of unsung heroes in there. There's some work in the space of local laws and what they're getting out and doing and the work they're doing. And it really does just emphasise how much happens in the space of Rockhampton Regional Council and what all of the people who are engaged in the organisation are out in the community doing. I don't think that the community necessarily are cognisant of how big this actual organisation is and the reaches into the community. And this report captures a lot of that. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Kirkland. Ross, no further questions on that one. I'm happy to move. Seek a seconder. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Fisher. We'll put that. Those in favour. Those opposed, motion's carried unanimously. Councillors, that brings us to the end of the agenda items for today's meeting. Can I thank all the councillors for your involvement, your input, and the officers for their reports, and I'll declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Now that we've arrived here, I would not change a thing. Knew that we'd survive here and all the goodness we would bring. Of this I sing, Everybody swimming in sunshine. Everybody feeling fine. Everybody join the front line. Ain't nobody left behind. Everybody swimming in sunshine.